Hey, welcome back to the Real Estate Boss Show. And today we got something really cool we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about coffee. So right here, as you can see, we're in a different environment. And I got my awesome friend, Scott Engelhardt here with Space Coast Roasters. And we're going to talk about coffee. And I'm a real big coffee fan. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we're going through here. But first of all, it's all about you. So let's talk about you. I want to know more about you and your family, how you guys came to Viera, and how Space Coast Roasters came to be.
Sure thing. Yeah, so I met my wife at UCF. We both went to school there, and I was majoring in finance, and she was a physical therapist. We moved to Melbourne after I got an offer from Harris. So I worked there for about 6 years while my wife worked as a physical therapist. She's currently at the Viera Health First Hospital.
Oh, very good. The one right here. Awesome.
Yep. So we've been in our house in Viera from 2019 is when we built. We have two beautiful daughters, Blakely and Taya, 4 and about to be 1.
Wow.
Space Coast Roasters started about a year ago. Well, I started roasting about a year ago, I should say. The business side of it started in December. But really, I was looking for coffee online that was affordable, fair trade, organic, and it was kind of hard to find. I wanted something fresh, and I knew if I was ordering it online, it wasn't going to be as fresh as possible. So
exactly.
I decided, I had a little bit of free time with 2 kids. It wasn't too much. And I decided I'd give it a shot and start roasting myself. I like to think I got pretty good at it. My friends started enjoying it, and I kind of talked to some colleagues, and they're like, you should start something, start selling it. So in December, I started doing some markets and pairing with some other local companies to sell some coffee. And it's kind of where we're at now. It's been growing pretty rapidly. I've upgraded my roasting equipment, getting a lot more sales every month, and it's been going great. So and a plus side is I get to drink great coffee whenever I want. So.
Exactly, and it's fresh because you made it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you some questions. I wrote down some questions here, and I'm a big coffee drinker, guys. For those of you who know me, I love coffee. I love tasting different styles of coffee. And for me, I used to drink coffee with sugar. And one of my great friends one day said, "Hey, Dan, you need to stop drinking coffee with sugar. First of all, you're diluting the taste of the coffee itself. And on top of that, you're gaining weight."
Yeah.
So I said, okay, we're going to cut back on that.
Yep.
And to be honest, I used to take 4 packs of sugar for every espresso. And I would have several of them a day. So it was a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
So I'm exciting. So we're going to get started in this here. So, what sets Space Coast Roasters apart from all the other type of coffees, brands and blends and all that that you see out there?
So I would say our biggest differentiator is just the fact that we're a small batch roastery. So, when you order a coffee from Space Coast Roasters, it's probably going to be roasted that night or the next day, or maybe it was roasted the day before, but it is going to be as fresh as possible. And then so when you're drinking your cup, you can taste the difference. And that's one of my biggest selling points is, this is fresh and this is good coffee. If you buy it from maybe a local coffee shop, you don't know how long it's been sitting on that shelf. So one of the biggest things I tell people is if you can't see a roast date, then it's not fresh. Because if you go to the coffee or the coffee aisle at Publix or Walmart, there's no roast dates. That coffee could be there for 6 months.
Yeah.
And I always recommend about 2 weeks before it starts to degrade in freshness.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
so it's very quick.
Yeah, so it is quick. I should say it starts degrading, so it's not like it's stale.
Yeah.
But I like to drink my coffee within that 2-week period just for maximizing the freshness.
Yeah.
So really freshness, and you get to support a local company.
Exactly.
It's great. Yeah.
Viera, guys. We got Viera in the house. So what's the mission statement behind Space Coast Roasters?
Yeah, so we just believe that everyone should be drinking fair trade, organic, and fresh coffee every single morning, and that coffee should be delicious. It shouldn't be work to drink your morning coffee. You should be enjoying every single sip. And our mission at Space Coast Roasters is to make sure that you are enjoying every single sip of coffee.
And folks, I've been enjoying it. So I'm on my 2nd cup. I'm feeling it. It's good. It's really, really good. How do you source your coffee beans? Like, do you have any particular criteria that, when you're selecting those beans, what do you guys do with that?
Yeah, so importing coffee can be a business of its own because there's a lot of, you have to deal with customs, you have to deal with the farms in different countries, which can be a lot of work. So I use a trusted supplier in Pennsylvania who vets all the farms to make sure that they're using fair trade and organic practices on their employees and the land. So then I look through the different beans and what they have to offer and look for tasting profiles or styles of drinking, whether that's espresso or a pour over, what would be best, and then kind of gauge it, what would I think my customers would like, So I always get the coffee, I try it myself, make sure it's good, make sure I enjoy it before I would sell it to anyone who's interested.
Exactly.
And
awesome.
One thing that is interesting to note that a lot of people don't know about with the fair trade and organic that they see is in these countries, sometimes they're very poor countries. And so getting an organic certification can be near impossible. So when I say the coffee is organic, it might not be a certified organic that you would see on your shelves, but the land has been, or the farms, have been inspected to, they don't use pesticides. They treat their employees fairly. So it is like one of those caveats that people are like, is it organic? I'm like, yes, but it's not. Yeah, it's not USA certified organic.
Exactly,
because that doesn't exist.
Look, that's just a tag.
Yeah.
There's even like over here locally. There's a place that sells vegetables, and they go through local suppliers as well, and it's all organic. They can't just put the name organic like you said because of that, but you taste the difference. Yeah, just like this, you taste the difference. Even the color, like you see the color of the blend. Yeah, you can see that it's good. It's really good stuff. So the question I had written here was, how do you ensure the quality and freshness of your coffee? And is there any specific measures or practice in place that you have for that?
Yeah. So the biggest thing with coffee, roasted or unroasted, is heat and air. So those are your enemies with a lot of foods. Heat and air are what's going to degrade the quality. So I store all of my beans in a cool, dry place before roasting them, and then cool, dry, airtight place. And then afterwards, same thing. I store them either in the bag, or I have airtight containers that I seal just to ensure that nothing's getting in there, nothing's getting out of there. They're staying as fresh as possible.
So these type of bags, like you're sucking out the air too. Like in other words, like it's airtight in a way, or not airtight, but like you're keeping the air from going in. In other words, to keep the quality.
Right. And you actually notice on the back of these, there's a valve here.
There it is.
And that's actually called a degas valve. So when you roast coffee, you have to you're supposed to let it sit for about 2 days. And during that time, there's carbon dioxide that emits from the beans. And so, if you didn't have these degas valves, your bag would just inflate. Which I've had some faulty bags, and the bags just get huge and look like they're about to pop. But so that's what, if you ever look in the market, you see those on the back. That's what's going on.
So it's funny you mentioned that, because now you just had me like light up for a second, because my wife and I went to Brazil. She's from Brazil, and we had tried a really, really good coffee blend out there. So we came back, and I'm like, hey, I need to find that coffee. So I went online. The only place I could find it was on Amazon. So I ordered like 4 bags. When they all came out, they were big, fluffy, like full of like air. Yeah. And it was not like the same quality of what we tasted in Brazil. It was horrible. Yeah. So that's why. So that makes sense. And they didn't have this little thing on here.
Yeah. So these definitely, keep it so, air's not getting in, or carbon dioxide's getting out. So maximizing the freshness there. So,
That's awesome. So while on the subject of freshness and all that, let's talk about the roasting process. Because I've never seen that. I've never seen how it's done. Yeah. So if you can explain to to everybody here, like how does that work?
Yeah. So I have a machine. It's a beautiful machine. It's called an Aleo Bullet. If you've seen Mario, Super Mario, played the game, those bullet enemies. Yeah, it looks just like that actually.
That's funny.
But the thing is, it's basically a computer. You can automate it. You can track all the different temperature changes and everything. My machine does it can do up to 2 pounds of coffee at a time. These are half pound here, so about 4 bags.
So it's like 4 like this.
Yeah, and I have bigger bags online that do like a pound at a time. But each roast takes about anywhere from 10 to 12, 13 minutes. And I do, this isn't my full-time job. So at night, I'm roasting an hour, 2 hours, 4 or 5 days a week. So I try to, like I mentioned earlier, I try to keep it as fresh as possible. So I don't love to roast a bunch in anticipation for orders. I like to roast after they've been ordered. Exactly. So I can get them to you as fresh as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's awesome. Yeah. How many coffee shops or coffee companies, roasters, that actually do that? It's like you don't hear that. You don't hear that. Yeah. They make it in big batches, and then they put them on the shelves, and then it sits there for a long time. Like you said. Yeah. So that's wow. Since you're local, any collaboration or partnerships that Space Coast Roasters is doing right now with other local companies?
Yeah,
or?
so I have a couple actually. One of them is with a good friend that I used to work with. They're called Greek's Bees, and they're a local beekeeping. I forget the word for beekeeper. That's like, I want to say apothecary, but I don't think that's right.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so they're beekeepers.
We'll call it beekeeper.
Yeah,
that's good.
Beekeepers. They have all different products, honey and bombs and all this stuff. But you know, a great family. They're local as well, and so they have every 6 months. It's called Greek's Bees Day, and so they set up on their front lawn. They have all their honey. They have all their merch, and then they give me a small table where I can sell coffee. So that's been great. I'm working to get into the Viera East Farmers Market. Hoping to be in there next month.
Very cool.
Which would be great because people love farmers market and they love buying, you know, local things at farmers market. So I think that would be a great venue to sell some coffee.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I'm working to partner with a store in the Avenues, Thrive Local, to have that as a pickup location.
That's awesome.
To where, you know, people can order. If they live in Viera, they don't want to pay for shipping, they can just pick it up.
Go there, walk in, pick it up. And that's awesome. It gives an opportunity for that store to also have somebody get exposed to that store as well. So that works hand in hand. That's really, really smart.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Very cool. So the feedback must be amazing. Look, I mean, right now, and I can't wait to try these. Certainly these guys right here. And we're going to talk about these blends, but what I'm tasting right here, right now, is phenomenal. And the smell is amazing. It's so fresh. I mean, really, it makes a difference. And I saw that from the moment they were grinding in the machine. It's like, wow, you don't smell that with the ones you buy at the store. Because we all think, right, you buy the beans at Publix, you know, you put them in your machine, it grinds, and then there's your fresh cup of coffee. It doesn't smell like what it just smelled like now.
No.
As these things were grinding, man, the aroma was just coming out. And as it was brewing, it was amazing.
Yeah. Even before, you can smell them through the bags almost. As I
Yeah,
walked
it
in here,
does.
you probably could smell. I smell like coffee.
It's amazing. It's so cool, you know. So the feedback's been awesome. And any testimonials, like anybody that drank this and they're like, man, I'm not going back to XYZ brand anymore.
I've had a lot of, you know, I pride myself in this, but I've had a lot of reviews on my website, all 5 stars. Everyone seems to love it. You know, everyone comments that this is the best coffee they've had. You know, they love the blends. They love, you know, I do sampler packs. So it's like 5 coffees of different varieties. They love that because they can really try all these different ones. So feedback's been outstanding. Yeah,
it's been really good. So it's, and the quality, so future plans, because I know right now you're roasting them at home. So what's your future plans with Space Coast Roasters? Like, what's your vision? Where do you see it going?
Yeah, so in the short term, my goal is to get plugged into the local community more and more through farmers markets, through different events where either companies are using my coffee beans in their store to serve to their customers, or just different, like I said, farmers markets or different events and that such. And that's kind of my short-term goal, is to, you know, grow as much as I can without overwhelming myself, you know. And in the long term, I think it would be very cool to have a, I don't want to say coffee shop, because my dream is not to serve coffee. I like the roasting side of it. I'm not really a barista, you know, but if it came to that, I would love to have, you know, a local coffee shop where, you know, I'm roasting coffee, big machine, you know, getting fresh coffee to our customers and serving them great coffee
through those channels. That's awesome. That's a great thought. That's really, really good. I think that can be done very easily. You know, there's other people out there that are probably looking to start their own coffee shop, because these broadcasts goes everywhere. So there might be somebody up north, you know, in another state, and they're like, hey, I'm thinking about starting my own thing, and they're thinking like, hey, I need to go open up a big factory to do this. And as you guys can see, you're able to do it from your home.
So
that's so awesome.
Most states have what's called cottage food laws, and this allows you to sell. So coffee is considered a food, so it allows you to sell food from your home. There's certain restrictions there. You can't. There's like you can't wholesale it. You can't make more than like $350,000 a year, which, you know, that's a lot for someone starting out. So there are some restrictions there, but, you know, generally speaking, you can make a very successful company that's selling coffee beans from your house. You know, roasting equipment can be expensive, can be pretty cheap depending on the scale that you're doing. You know, I started out with a little $300 roaster, and then, you know, once I became overwhelmed with orders, then, you know, I upgraded my roaster to be able to 4 times that capacity. So really, I mean, initial investments, it's not as bad as some stuff. I mean, if you want a full scale coffee shop, then you're spending a good penny.
Exactly.
But if you're trying to get something started from your home, selling locally to friends, families, or your local community, it can definitely be done without breaking the bank.
Awesome. That's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to go into the fun part, which is going to be tasting those. So I can't wait. Which one do you want to start with?
Ooh, let's go with your pick here. I think it was this one in the end. This is our endurance. Here, I'll turn it to you.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Thank you.
This is a bean from Colombia.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh man, that smells good. Oh,
Nice and
that's
sweet.
really,
Yeah.
really
Nice,
good.
smooth.
Very smooth.
Yeah.
Oh, this blend is really good. Let's talk about this one.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, this is a single origin from Colombia. The farm is Santa Barbara, is the farm that it comes from. This has been, it's funny, I had this one for myself for a while and I really liked it. And, in the beginning when I started Space Coast Roasters, I had 3 coffees and I was like, I'm just going to do 3 and that's it. I don't want to become overwhelmed with getting all these different beans and having all these different orders and all that. But I liked it so much. I was like, I got to sell this because people are going to love this too. And it's one of my better sellers.
What's the name of it again?
Endurance.
Endurance.
Yeah. So
oh boy,
another story there was.
I'm gonna feel it.
Yeah. I started with naming each individual coffee. So that was why I wanted 3. I had my first was Zero Gravity, which was a Tanzanian light roast. I had Blast Off Blend here, which is a mix of Brazil and Guatemala.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had Eclipse, which was a dark roast from Bali. And so I had the names, I liked the names, I thought it was cool. And then I added a few more. I had Interstellar, I had Voyager was another one. And then I was like, man, it's hard coming up with names that are good and unique. And I wanted to move to selling more variety to give people more options. So I've kind of moved away. That's why you'll see this one's just Tanzania.
Tanzania.
Yeah. So I switched from the names to the origin. I missed the names because I thought they were fun and they gave it some flavor. But maybe if I have a specialty one, I'll give it some names. But
I would definitely do it.
Yeah, it's fun.
It goes with your logo too.
Yeah.
The rocket.
Yeah. So
Space
space themed. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man, that I'm feeling it already.
Yeah. No, this is a good one. You drank the whole one. You got 3 more. I don't know.
I don't think I'll be able to sell houses today. I'm gonna be pretty wired up now, man, on caffeine, but it's really good.
Yeah.
Let's go with the next one. What do we have?
So we'll do this one on this end. This is
right here?
Yeah, this is the Tanzania, the light roast. One of my personal favorites and one of the bigger or the most favorite of my customers.
Oh, that's smooth.
Yeah. So this one's going to be this one was blended or brewed a little differently, so it's not going to be quite as strong because it's more of a.
It's a light. It's
a light roast. It's subtle. Fun fact though, it will have more caffeine because when you roast coffee, the darker you go, the more caffeine you're burning off essentially. So the lighter roasts are going to get you a little more jittery, and the darker roasts are going to have more of a smoky flavor, but less of the caffeine content.
That's funny. I never knew that.
Yep.
I think we all thought that the darker the roast, the stronger the coffee. So it's the opposite.
Yeah, so the flavor might be stronger, but the caffeine content is going to be stronger for the light roast.
On the light roast.
And that varies on origins. But for, generally speaking, a lighter roast is going to be a little more caffeinated.
Very cool. Man, I'm starting to feel it.
Yeah. Me too.
This is good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's really good. What's the next one?
This next one here is a espresso blend. This is one I'm trying actually to see how I like it, to see if I think my customers would enjoy it. So this one doesn't have a name yet. It's just a blend of different beans from Central, South America, Africa, and Indonesia.
Okay, so it's a mystery blend.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a bold.
Yeah,
That's a bolder
bite.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's really good. I like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is more like a. It's a lot bolder.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, when we just tried the Tanzania, the lighter one, you feel this one. But it's really tasty.
Yeah. So this one is a darker roast, slightly darker. There's like 5 scales of how dark it is, and so this one is on the very early stages of a dark roast, whereas the first one, the Colombian, was just a medium.
That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
It has a really bold taste, but at the same time, it doesn't feel really, really strong.
Yeah.
Like it's really well balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel the caffeine from all these different ones.
Yeah. Yeah. My favorite with these that, the stronger is mixing with, so in the espresso, before I pour it, I do a pinch of salt. maple syrup just to like cover the bottom, and then mix that with some milk. And that's my go-to afternoon latte, which
that's nice.
I think I'm gonna have to skip today.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm gonna be skipping my afternoon coffee too. I'm feeling it right now. That is good, man. That's really, really good.
Yeah.
And what is this one?
So this last one is Blast Off Blend, one of our originals here. Okay. This one, I'll let you try it and then tell the story there.
Oh, that's really smooth.
Mm-hmm.
That's very, very good.
Yeah. So if you can taste, there's actually like a nutty flavor to that.
Yep.
And where that comes from is, this is a blend of Brazilian and Guatemalan beans, and part of the Brazilian beans is what's called a cinnamon roast. So in the roasting process, you have these different reactions that are happening, right? So first, the beans turn from like a green color to a yellow, and then after that, they start cracking. So it sounds kind of like popcorn or dropping of rocks or something like that. So start cracking, and that's going to be water evaporating and splitting the bean open. So you notice that the coffee beans have like that crack
in the middle.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening there. And then as you progress the roast more, it goes through another cracking, so where they get even bigger and crack even more. And that's when you get to a dark, is that second crack.
Okay.
But these beans the cinnamon roast is right before first crack, which typically people don't do, right? Because at that stage, you'll have almost like a grassy flavor that tastes kind of like you're eating vegetables, like a vegetable flavor. But this bean,
not at all.
I found this bean is very nice, and it has a very strong like peanut flavor.
Yeah.
So when you're drinking this coffee, you might taste peanuts or dark chocolate in that cup, and very subtle. It's kind of like how
I love this blend.
Yeah.
This is probably my favorite one of all of them.
Yeah.
This is really, really good.
Right, and that was an original for a reason, because people have loved it, and I've always brought it back just as soon as it comes in stock from the farms. I'll snag some and roast it for them.
Wow, this is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Folks, you got to try this. Like, seriously, this is good. And I'm so happy that we did this particular show here with the coffee theme. Again, for us, I've always been a coffee drinker. I always loved coffee. In fact, I loved it so much that in 2014, we had changed the concept of the real estate office. And we had created what we called the Office of the Future. And it was coffee shop meets real estate office. Mm-hmm. We did that concept. It was really cool. And then over time, a lot of companies started copying that concept. Mm-hmm. So we're like, cool, we're the first. They put us in we have a Florida Realtor magazine, and they did like a 2-page spread about us. Not even like, we didn't pay any money on that. Mm-hmm. It was all done because of the fact that we were doing something different.
Yeah.
And so today, this is how this office has changed over time, having this type of a concept, and to have this type of a coffee. I'm gonna keep this coffee in here. Yeah. Like, you guys come in here, you're gonna see the coffee. It's gonna be right there.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Awesome.
This is really, really good. So if you guys want to, try this and do this, I mean, if I was you, I would buy this year long. Like, I would buy a ton of it. Mm-hmm. How did it reach you to do this?
So you can follow us on Instagram at Space Coast Roasters. We have our website is spacecoastroastersfl.com. Or if you like an easier, shorter domain, it's scr.coffee to find our website. And if you're tuning in today, I'd like to offer you for the first 20 listeners or viewers, 20% off using code Zoom. Awesome. So go ahead and snag up some coffee as soon as you hear this, because I'm sure that'll go fast.
It's going to go very quick. You can bet. This is amazing. Folks, definitely try this. For me, this is my go-to coffee now, for real. Mm-hmm. This is amazing stuff.
Awesome.
I'm used to buying it online, and we talked about, I don't want to say the brands on video, but I would buy these particular brands because I wanted that strong coffee. Mm-hmm. And I would have to order it. And again, I can get it at the store, but it's not fresh. And when you order online, you think you're going to get it fresher. But in reality, now that I tasted this, there's no comparison.
No.
This is the real deal. Yeah. You're getting as fresh can be. I mean, it's literally like, here it is, Mm-hmm. So definitely check out Space Coast Roasters. This is amazing coffee. And I'm so glad you came out here today, man. That was
Thanks
awesome.
for having me on.
Hey, no problem at all. Folks, we'll see you on the next show.